What's up, guys? Run it back with another replay for you, and it's going to be a Khorne versus Skaven showdown. Very interesting. Not something you see terribly often, but going to be a really fun one here. Playing against the man himself, Turin, from our semifinals match in his, I think it was his SFT. I've been playing in so many SFTs now, I can't remember. But, yeah, he's got Ikit Claw, Double Chieftain, lots of Clan Rats, some Night Runner Slings to pebble down my SEs or Marauders, Bloodletters, and the like. I like to bring Bloodletters. They can be pretty vulnerable to missile fire of any kind. They have very poor armor. He's got Plague Monks, too. They're a pretty good choice. They've got pretty good stats, truthfully, for rats. I mean, 39, 34, 80 leadership, 35 weapon strength with a bonus versus infantry. They trade up into Bloodletters, actually. Their physical resistance gets circumvented by the magical attacks, but these guys are 650 as opposed to 850. And lacking the super high AP doesn't hurt these guys so much just because, like I said, 35 armor ain't shit. Really isn't that good.
We have a victory point.
But yeah.
Keep it from
I've got Hounds of the Blood Hunt here, Soul Grinder, Valkia the Bloody, going very meta, trying to avenge my earlier loss to him in the Swiss format, trying to make it into the grand finals here. So, running around with the Soul Grinder, you might think this guy isn't a very meta option, but I am becoming a massive fan of this guy. These Soul Grinders are vicious. They're super fast, 75 speed on a pretty highly armored unit with a cannon with this much ammo. And the cannon's actually decently accurate now. See the first shot coming in here. One of the cannonballs lands short, but it is a shotgun, so just one of the rounds needs to land, and it'll outright kill infantry models, killing 10 Plague Monks there on just one shot. Yes, please. Firing a little high on these guys, but still clipping a few, killing them. It's got the same aiming issues that the Skull Cannon has, but luckily, because of that spread on the shotgun, like I said, some of the pellets actually hit and did some pretty good work. So just skirmishing out there with him, holding that with the Hounds of the Blood Hunt, and diving in here is Ikit and the Double Chieftains, but Ikit gets a little trapped up on all the Marauders trying to get out. They were pretty locked in place by the Brass Orb and bunched up, so he got stuck. Got a good attack on him, and now I'm swinging in on this Chieftain who's taking pretty big attacks. You know, these guys don't have healing. Very much like Valkia, but I did have the Demon Shield popped, and she is not afraid to get swings in here at all. She's willing to take this fight. She's got better stats overall than this Chieftain, who's already wavering on leadership. This is really not good for Turin. He really needs to get this guy out of here, and luckily he is able to. And it's just kicking off all across the front line. Out here on the edge, some Eshin Triads snuck up. I didn't see them jumping on my Flesh Hounds out here. But countercharging them with Furies is great. Furies have very high melee attack and chew through the physical resist on these guys. These guys are even more reliant on it than Plague Monks. So, pretty beautiful situation. Getting a very nice pick there. But Bloodletters here in the front line getting knocked out by Night Runners. These slings are tearing my poor demons apart, quite honestly, and they're not going to be long for this world with the amount of damage they've taken. But I am breaking through the front line here. Marauders killing off the Plague Monks with a good Sloughtner that came down, as I'm sure you just saw. Doing the work that needed to do in order to push back this missile front line. You know, Turin's going to have to move these guys back eventually. Good Warp Lightning, hitting both this Chaos Warrior unit and the Marauders here, doing a lot of good work. Back here on the side objective, I am holding a triple cap. I was able to break the Clan Rats with a Terror Route from the Soul Grinder and some good charge attacks, and then just chase these guys down with Hounds of the Blood Hunt just to charge up the army abilities. I'm pretty sure by this point I already had a Sword of Khorne ready and on standby, just because I've killed so many Clan Rats in the front line. That's one of the beautiful things about fighting Skaven, is you can just farm for days with your army abilities and get some really good uses out of them. Soul Grinder coming in to help in the middle because it is not looking super favorable. I do have some Marauders and Chaos Warriors here, but Ikit and the Double Chieftain are pretty healthy here. With Ixis Triads, Clan Rats, a pretty healthy Plague Monk, and the Missile support. But one of the Night Runner's slings is getting rear charged by Hounds of the Blood Hunter, ripping them up. But seeing some Wolf Rats coming in, I am going to try and pull out of here now. Luckily, the immunity to contact effects makes it so that the Wolf Rats can't quite catch the Flesh Hounds here. I do need to play very cagily. It is not looking great out here on the side because now there's another unit of Wolf Rats, more Wolf Rats collapsing here, tons of Skaven Slaves and Clan Rats coming in. That's just a lot to have to clear out with squishy units. Yeah, these guys are pretty good against infantry-sized targets, but if you just get swamped in units, it doesn't matter the quality, you will get overrun. Have pulled a little bit of a value lead, not too terribly much. Really good Howling Warp Gale, keeping my Furies locked in place and not able to dive in here and get attacks in, which is really nice for me, but a huge Sword of Khorne coming in, just annihilating rats here. Absolutely deleting them from the game, killing a lot of my own Marauders, but honestly, it's a price worth paying to get rid of some pretty healthy Skaven infantry, especially the Plague Monks who actually have some cap weight. Really don't want those guys being allowed to continue to do what they do best. Chaos Warriors here, not doing too hot, but they are killing off some Night Runners here, which is pretty nice. And Hounds of, or not just regular Flesh Hounds back here, getting some decent value, but have been rear charged by Ixis Triads and are suffering a bit. So I'm trying to pull them out of combat. Valkia and the Soul Grinder posting up here. Demon Shield popped. This is when you want to duel double characters. Your opponent thinks they have a favorable fight, but actually Valkia is getting free damage. You countercharge with something to soak up the attention of the rest of the units. Ikit running, he got smacked by the Soul Grinder, pretty nice. And now the Soul Grinder is going to turn around, going to try and do the same to these Chieftains, man. And these guys are not immune to psychology, and their leadership is getting a little dicey, so we might be seeing a terror rout on them in just a moment. Ixis Triads coming in here, though, being very annoying, getting some decent attacks in on the Soul Grinder. You can see how quickly they can work him down if he stays in combat, but luckily he's got really high mass at 4,000, able to push away from them, and also just outright run away from them. And they only have 49 speed, this guy's got 75. Very good situation for me. Back here, though, it is looking really messy. I have lost the Hounds of the Blood Hunt. They did get trapped up fighting just a horde of Wolf Rats and Skaven. They did get pretty good value, but losing them is pretty unfavorable for me. I've got some Furies out here that I have forgotten about, and we'll be pulling them back into combat in a moment. But the Marauder Horsemen are just throwing their axes in, trying to work down the rats out here. I really do want to try and retake this objective, or at least keep pressure on it, so that, you know, maybe my opponent doesn't get a freebie, you know. I have a pretty huge value lead right now, which is nice. It is going to give me an opportunity to grind back into this game at some point, because I am losing quite a few of my units. I have killed a lot of Turin's missile units, which are all pretty tattered. I've taken some pretty good damage off of his heroes and his lord. This chieftain, in fact, is routing out here. I thought he was about to just run off the field. I am going to disengage from him in just a moment, and he will rally, which is a bit of a mistake on my part. Should have just kept chasing, but I had more stuff across the battlefield that I wanted to do. I really needed to try and resecure objectives, because he does have a double cap on me now. But Wolf Rats overextend and run right into the Vanguard position. Some Bloodletters come out, helping out. Ooh, excuse me. And they are dead and gone. While the Furies get a good rear charge on these Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves and immediately start routing both units, or the Skaven Slaves, and about to rout the Clan Rats here, whose leadership is not holding too well, and there they go. So, This is the opportunity I was looking for. I've got a very healthy bloodletter. There is nothing out here to really threaten it. I do have the Soul Grinder, and some Marauders have moved up onto the middle to maybe contest it. Another Sword of Khorne coming in, absolutely smacking Blightscab's Plague Pack, and the Wolf Rats here doing great damage. Not getting the one-shot on this unit like I was hoping, but regardless, really working down an incredibly expensive and elite Skaven unit. Great choice here. They give ITP and an Aura. Good call because of the terror on the Soul Grinder here, but as good as these guys are, they're pretty vulnerable at this stage in the match with all the army abilities and Khorne's general fighting prowess. Slautner coming in, not getting the true side shot I was hoping for, but killing quite a few models, doing a good amount of damage. Valkia up to 1200 value there, and the Soul Grinder out here, 1500 on this guy, killing some Plague Monks, chasing and terrorizing the elite infantry that the Skaven are bringing out onto the field. And Bloodletter's gonna rip apart these Clan Rats. Doing a good job of microing back, trying to stay safe, but gonna give me an opportunity to move up onto the point with some Marauders and hold and secure. While the Marauder Horsemen just trolling about out here. Not gotten crazy value on them, but they've, you know, helped to clear out some Clan Rats. Chased a few units off and are just, you know, helping me re-secure an objective, because now I am triple capped, which is certainly not good. You never really want to be triple capped at any point, but it's not terrible for me. I'm finding opportunities to value trade now. Valkia is a little in danger. Skaven Chieftain and Ikit Claw rolling around out here doing some work against her, running from Blightscab's Plague Pack. The Soul Grinder not too worried, getting some massive hits in on this Chieftain, who is very low now. Only got about 1700 health left, and Ikit about 2800. I can deal with that. I can get rid of these guys at some point if I just play my cards right. Good job with the Poison Wolf Rats out here, chasing down these Chaos Warriors, not giving them an opportunity to do any work. Bit of a mistake diving the Furies in here. Really don't need to be doing this. But I am just trying to block up as many units as possible so that the Hellforged Host has a little bit of an easier time about it getting in here. I do need a Fury unit to help these guys out, though, so they don't get attacked from all directions. So going to be trying to do that. Marauder Horsemen doing what they do best. Battlefield control, killing the Blightscab's Plague Pack with a good charge. And just controlling the backfield, chasing down units, getting me extra charge on army abilities, and making sure that no Skaven are rallying to the point. Back here, Bloodletter's getting a really good fight with Deathrunners, man. Deathrunners trade pretty evenly with them, but with Fury support, that's going to be a big loss for these Rat Boys. Furies just are very, very punchy as a unit now. It's really nice. They're not OP. I really don't think that they're busted like some people might think they are. They just actually perform their role effectively. They are incredibly squishy still. It says 13, but they're suffering Weeping Blade right now. They have 25 armor and 50 leadership. 50 leadership is still pretty low. If you get a good rear charge on them, they lose their frenzy, which is what they really rely on to do the work they need to. And then they're just a regular old Fury. Nothing special about them, and you can just crush them at that point. So it is what it is, but they're certainly much more effective now and cost efficient. Off on the side point here, it is an absolute mess. Hellforged Hosts have gotten in. They've taken Warp Lightning, I believe, by this point. Ikit just dropping one right on their heads. But they are helping break this Skaven position. Lots of rats routing at this point. In terror at the sight of the Soul Grinder, which is a pretty scary unit, shooting Ikit Claw in the back, trying to finish him off. 2,300 value on this guy. Absolutely amazing. He is under attack by Eshin Triads, and the Chieftain did catch him here, but Chieftain pretty low, and this guy's attacks are very disruptive, so he tosses a lot of units around. making it harder for these type of units to get their attacks on them in quite the same way as you would want. But some poison wolf rats certainly going to slow him down, make it a little bit harder for me to escape, and I cannot lose this guy right now. I really need to find a way to keep him alive. He's got a lot of units blobbed up on him, and I'm just trying to pull him out while the Hellforged hosts rally onto the point. Another good warp lightning coming in. Luckily, not hitting the center of the unit. Wolf rats charging in on the rear of the Hellforged host, but man, I mean, they just turn around and you can see how much damage they do. Every swing is a kill, basically. These guys have Hungering Blades, which is a better Hellblade ability that charges up at 40 kills rather than 80. So they get the weapon strength buff, as well as a melee attack buff, which is really nice and very useful. Soul Grinder and Furies rallying in here. Hounds of the Blood Hunt back on the field. 242 kills in these guys. Absolute champions. They did really well that first time around, but I fumbled them a little bit. They could have still been out on the field doing more work. Still got some things I could clean up with my micro, but I'm pretty happy with the performance of myself in this game, and it's just kicking off over here on the side. I have resecured my #1 objective pretty solidly. Bloodletter's just running around out here, intercepting units and being annoying, forcing Night Runner slings back. And the Marauder Horsemen also stopping units up, getting some good kills. Not quite paying for themselves, but that's okay. They've been doing the work they need to do. Another Sword of Khorne came out here. This one missed pretty hard. Got some kills on some Clane Rats, but that's about it. The Clane Rat Spears here are routing and running Furies, Fleshhounds, and Hellforged Hosts. There's just a little too much for those poor little fellas to deal with. And I am finally resecuring my #3 objective. It is a very close game, but by this point, I have pulled a pretty substantial value lead, and it's pretty true just because Skaven don't really have any healing. Neither do I. I did lose the Blood Shrine, which did have, you know, a healing effect, but it died pretty early, so didn't get much done. Valkia up here, she's been good. She hasn't been... I haven't needed her to do too much. She dropped Sloupnir on some good targets and has been working down Chieftains and Ikit where possible without overextending, and that's really all you need to do with her. A lot of people seem to want to over-rely on her, and I think that's a huge mistake. She's pretty squishy, but with Demon Shield, you just run around, get in, get some attacks in, run away, support her with some Furies or just something to keep her a little bit safer and maybe break some isolated units like this. This is where she's best. Doing something like this, she just helps chase something down, get it locked in combat while Furies follow it up, get them out of there, and then find something else to do. You know, nothing too terribly complicated about that. Soul Grinder going crazy back here. 2,700 value on this guy. 315 kills. Ikit has been desummoned. The Skaven Chieftain here suffering pretty badly. Unfortunately, Power Grab not coming into play just because the Lord has not died and has not routed. So that's nice for me. Otherwise, these rats would all have 8 extra leadership, which is a pretty cool mechanic. It was kind of gamey in the past because you could unsummon your Lord and immediately get that leadership buff, which was very stupid. Did not like it. You would just bring a Skaven Slave as your Lord and then do that with the Chieftain. But it's changed now, and that's really nice. Fleshhounds running around out here doing good work. Charging down some Plague Rats. Do get countercharged by Wolf Rats, which is a good call. Doing a lot of work on these guys, but that's okay. I just want to stop turn from getting on the objectives here. Routing some Plague Monks with some Furies. These Furies have been insane. Just getting lots of kills more than anything. Trading down in a lot of circumstances, but being incredibly disruptive to the Skaven is honestly just as good as actually getting value, in my opinion. You can trade evenly or even upwards into Skaven and still lose just because they can swarm so well. So if you can actually chase units off or outright kill them and just leave them in very tattered conditions where their poor leadership starts to show through, that's where you get the most value, honestly. Khorne operates best when you can just break the battlefield up and slowly work your way into a position to box your opponent out and take advantage of the chaos that your units cause. I mean, there really isn't many. There aren't many Skaven units that can go toe to toe with these Hellforged Host guys. That's why I brought them out here on the side. Not a pick you would typically see, and maybe not the best unit in the world, but they're just so beefy that your opponent has to respond to them, or they're going to carry the game for you. Same with the Soul Grinder in a way. And Khorne has a lot of synergies to play around that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where the idea came from for me. But really well played to him. He did a great job of scrapping there. Just couldn't quite keep his Night Runner slings protected. They got beat up pretty bad in the mid game there. And losing them, he didn't have anything to really deal with the Soul Grinder. And it just got to farm value for free. I mean, 334 kills on this guy. Did a ton of damage to the Chieftains and to Ikit, who really can't fight him. He just hits so hard, and with just a little bit of support, it's pretty difficult to lock him down and deal with him. The Hounds of the Blood Hunt as well. Doing work. And yeah, that's going to be it for this one. I did have some Minotaurs with great weapons. They are a decent choice here, pretty heavily armored and can kill rat ogres, but only one of those came out, so didn't really see the need to bring many of them. Good value on the Fleshhounds here, and yeah, love to see it. Furies doing pretty well, not really paying for themselves because so many of them, I mean, I think this unit came out twice, did pay for itself. This one came out twice, didn't. And this one only came out once, didn't pay for itself, but being disruptive, like I said, was the goal with them. And yeah, that's going to be it for this one, guys. GG's. Peace.